Good morning. Vern Bremer with Fiat. I'm the engineering responsible for the Fiat 500X in NAFTA. And today I'd like to just point out a couple things on explain the all-wheel drive system. First of all, from a function standpoint, what we have is in the front of the vehicle, we have a disconnect at the transmission. And what that allows us to do for fuel economy is disconnect the all-wheel drive system at any point that it's not required. The car actually launches. It actually, when you take off from a stoplight, all-wheel drive is fully engaged. Then it'll sense the driving condition at a very fast rate and determine when to disconnect the rear axle. It also uses the ABS system in conjunction with the all-wheel drive, and the central processor in the vehicle will take and again, very quickly, 500 milliseconds, it will take and sample the rate of wheel slip and tell where to supply the torque. From a safety aspect, what this does for the customer is, as you're driving, you get into a condition where possibly you're in snow or on loose gravel, you come into a corner, it'll sense very quickly that you have wheel slip. It'll then apply the torque to the wheels to bring you back in line into a straight line of driving. In the 500X, the options that you're able to choose from is we have an auto mode, we have a traction plus mode, and we have a sport mode. In the auto mode, it's very much centered around daily driving, not in extreme conditions. The sport mode knows that you're at a higher rate of acceleration, much more aggressive shift points, and it'll keep the all-wheel drive system engaged longer. Plus, when it samples a little bit of wheel slip, it'll actually apply torque much faster at a much faster rate. Traction Plus is much more for in the snowy conditions, and it's centered around the launching of the car in wet conditions. And what that means is the acceleration or the movement of the car. It'll actually start the vehicle in second gear to get the amount of wheel spin that you need to actually get the vehicle moving, and then it again samples very quickly and will actually distribute the torque much more quickly if it's sensing that you're on ice or slippery conditions. We don't have the EPA labels yet. We don't have the EPA labels yet. The differences between the two, between a front-wheel drive version and all-wheel drive version. But with the disconnect, there's not much of a variance in the actual on-highway fuel economy. First of all, the vehicle stands in a segment on its own. It's very much centered around a CUV. Has a large interior space. Very nice driving dynamics on the highway. Very good fuel economy. We're expecting labels in the numbers of 30 plus miles, north of 30 miles per gallon highway. The state of the art in this car is the suspension tuning, the all-wheel drive system, and the 9-speed transmission, and also the safety features in this car. I mentioned them very shortly, but the safety features with the 7 airbags, the lane departure warning, the forward collision warning, the blind spot detection. I believe there's 70 safety features in this vehicle. It's not a CVT. This is not continuous variable. It's 9 specific gear ratios. And again, with the speed of the microprocessors today, it really does allow us to keep it a very even engine RPM. Very consistent engine RPM, thus saving fuel economy, thus giving you the acceleration, very quick acceleration on the vehicle. The responsiveness of the vehicle is better. On the 500X, there's only one size. If you look at the design, you take the 500. The 500's very small, not a 4-door mini vehicle. This is much more slated towards somewhere between it's more of a compact CUV